This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer. The DRF Race of the Day for Wednesday, April the 28th is $100,000. It's a state-bred allowance race at Oaklawn. The purse is $106,000. We'll get to the analysis in a second, but I do want to remind you that, of course, this Saturday is the first Saturday in May. That means it's the Kentucky Derby, and you got to go to DRF.com for the one-stop Derby shop, Derby packages, past performances, betting strategies, clocker reports, and lots more. Your one-stop Kentucky Derby shop at DRF.com. Here's the field for Wednesday's race of the day at Oaklawn Park. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them and handicap along with us. Mike, the 6 Bye Bye J has been one of the top Arkansas-bred fillies and mares for a long time.
Yeah, I do think she's the horse to beat in this race, Dan. I'm not surprised she's the morning line favorite. But the contention, I thought, ran pretty deep in here. There's some up-and-coming horses in this race.
Especially the 7, Hillary G, will be back out against older horses after winning the Rainbow Mist. That's a very interesting matchup between the experience of Bye Bye J, the upside potential of Hillary G. And as we take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, they've got Hillary G ahead of Bye Bye J. But has Bye Bye J, do you think, Mike, as she gotten older, lost a little bit of that early speed? She used to be a lot more tactical.
Yeah, she used to show more speed than she has in her recent races. I don't know, Dan, that I'm going to say that she's lost that speed just yet anyway. We'll see what happens. In her first 2 starts so far this year, I think there might be circumstances that led to her being as far back as she was.
I do agree that the 5 Willow Moon will likely be aggressively ridden on the pace after beating a couple of these last time out on the lead. Let's talk about the number 1, Matapan, who I think is a very intriguing contender. The last time Matapan raced at Oaklawn Park, she was second in the Down the Dusty Road over Sloppy Going. Now, she took her show on the road to Delta Downs against Open Company in her last 2 starts, and that competition is probably equal to what she's facing here. I think she'll appreciate getting back in against Archie Breds.
Yeah, cutting back could be okay for her too in this race, so that's a positive. She did run well in the Down the Dusty Road, Dan. I don't have any problem with the race she ran that day. She was a good second at a good price. Overall, I feel like if some of the other horses in here show up with their best race, Matapan's in pretty big trouble in here, and I just thought she was a really uninteresting price on the morning line.
Yeah, 4-1 does seem a little bit light. She has hit the exact 15 of 25. The third-place finisher from her last race came back to run third in an allowance at Delta with a 70 buyer. One of the up-and-comers is Kaboom Baby, maiden winner 2 starts back, and third in the Rainbow Mist. It was a race, Mike, where she fell behind that fast pace early. She swung to the outside. She made up some ground. She might get another good setup here, but she's the kind of filly that I think needs to improve from a buyer standpoint.
I mean, she's going to have to take a step forward to beat this field. That's for sure. I actually like all 3 of her races, Dan. I thought she ran really well in her career debut, carried a long, wide run in that race. Her maiden win, I thought, was a really good effort. Last time, you're right that she had a good trip behind a contested pace, but man, I feel like she was going to make it a lot closer in there. She would not keep a straight line in the stretch. She kept drifting in over behind the leaders. I think it really cost her in there. She's a really green horse with forward to go.
The number 3, Too Pretty, is cutting back in distance, and I wonder if this trip is a little bit sharp for her. I like the fact that she has been able in her route races to stay close to solid paces. If the pace is fast here, I think she can come with a good run, but it is worth noting that both of her wins have come going long.
Yeah, her sprint races just aren't that good at this stage of the game, and it feels like getting outrun in those races is not what she really likes. So we'll see how close she can get to the pace this time.
Hissy Missy coming off a nice win around 2 turns. Let's watch that effort. A similar state-bred allowance at Oaklawn. This race was at 1 mile and 16. She has a lot to do, Mike, at the 3/16 pole, but she's going to come not only get this horse, but run right by. 71 buyer speed figure for Hissy Missy, but another one turning back that's going to need some pace help. She might be slightly better going longer.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best race she's ever run right here. She's getting to a tired horse at the end of this race to pull clear. She runs fine in this race. Dan, 2 back where she just missed sprinting. That was a race that had a really fast pace. The leaders were exhausted in there, and she just couldn't quite get up. I wonder if this race will set up quite as well for her.
The 5 Willow Moon comes off a gate-to-wire performance. Let's watch that race at Oaklawn on March the 26th. Kind of a fast, early, slow, late race. Willow Moon at 17-1 was able to control things up front and is going to hold off Hissy Missy. Only a 57 buyer speed figure for Willow Moon, but you have to respect her speed.
Yeah, you do. This is the race that we were just talking about here. They went fast early in this race, and Willow Moon, despite being a big price, somehow survived it. You can see how tired she is at the end, Dan, but she's going to hold on at the end of the race. I thought she ran well in there. The horse that she dueled with, who was the big favorite in there and finished, a few lengths behind her back in, I think, 5th or 6th, came back to run second in a stakes race in her next start. So this horse really ran very well last time.
Number 6, Bye Bye Jay, is doubtlessly the class of this race. Not only a multiple stakes winner against statebreds, but also against open foes. And as you said in the open, Mike, I think you can make excuses for her last few races. Wet track, fell far behind, had a little bit of a trip last time out. The race before that just missed the break. I have a feeling she's probably going to be at her best third off the layoff.
Yeah, that's how I was looking at it too. And I think there are excuses. As you said, her first start off the left, she just did not break well at all against a really good field. The winner of that race, French Empire, is just on a real roll right now, running 90 buyers all over the place, doing nothing but winning races. And Bye Bye Jay actually ran pretty well in there. Last time, I feel like maybe the sloppy track worked against her, Dan. She just dropped far back early, swung very wide to the stretch. I actually feel like she ran a deceptively good race last time.
I think Hillary G has a lot of talent, and it'll be interesting to see if she can put it all together now against older horses. Let's watch her win in the Rainbow Miss, where she stayed right up close to a solid pace. I mean, this is the favorite who's in front of her, had an easy lead. Hillary G, despite flagging her tail in the stretch, is going to run right on by. She's very lightly raced, and with her tactical speed, she might get a nice candy trip sitting behind the 5 as Timeform US projects. She might get the jump on everybody turning into the stretch.
Yeah, she might. She could get a good trip in this race, and she ran well in here, just sitting right up close. That's the Kaboom Baby there, the 11 you could see in that replay, Dan, who just kept drifting over behind the leaders in there and probably cost herself some ground. No knocks on Hillary G. Her races are all good. She's got really good tactical speed. I do think she has to improve to beat this field, but why can't she do it?
Uchi is the number 8. We saw Uchi finish 3rd in the Willow Moon replay. I was a little disappointed she wasn't closer. That was a fast pace. Willow Moon controlled that pace. Uchi was coming from out of it, and she couldn't get to Willow Moon. I thought Willow Moon ran better.
I agree with that. I thought Willow Moon ran a lot better than this horse did in there. You'd have to go back to her career debut over a year ago to get to her only win, Dan. And since then, I mean, she really just hasn't improved all that much.
Ron Moquette dropped the 9 Proud Victoria into the statebred $20,000 claimer, and it was a nice confidence boost for the daughter of Laurie's Rocket. We watched Proud Victoria. She settled from off of the pace. She rallies powerfully. She needed this because she had been stepped up into some stakes company last year. It didn't work out. Beaten by Bye Bye Jay, beaten by Matapon. She ran down the dusty road off of a lengthy layoff. She tired very badly. She needed this race. Now she's going to prove it against stakes quality allowance horses.
It's a tough field for sure. I was surprised they dropped her in for 20, Dan. She was pretty good last year. She came back off the layoff and then down the dusty road. It just felt like, to me anyway, they were giving her a race there. She never shows speed, but they put her right on the front that day. And then she got tired. She had a miserable trip 2 starts back when her rider tried to cut the corner up the inside. She got totally shut off and lost all chance in that race. I thought she ran a lot better than it looks. I was surprised they put her in for 20 last time, and I'm maybe even more surprised that nobody took her.
Sattersfield is the number 10. This is a mare that hasn't won a race on the dirt since 2018 and is just hard to like.
She just doesn't look like she has a race that's going to make her competitive in here. She's going to be a huge price.
Let's take a look at our top picks in here, Mike, because I'm very interested in your thoughts on my top pick, the 11, Princess Lilybug, whose last 2 buyer speed figures from last year at Indiana Grand, they're very, very strong. And I don't think she'll be the 10-1 that she is on the morning line, but she still might offer a good price shipping in from that track. Now, when she won at Indiana Grand 2 starts back, it was odd for several reasons. A, she went down from 28-1 to 11-1 during the middle of the race after she got an easy lead. B, she won very, very easily with a 79 buyer on an easy lead. She beat 2 minor next out winners, and then surprisingly, she came back and she upset them on the turf. Is this filly for real? I have a feeling these folks are like, listen, we have an Arkansas bred. We have 1 shot to run for 100,000. This is it. Cipriano Contreras winning lots of races this meet.
Yeah, I mean, I think this horse makes sense from a lot of different angles. I, like you, will be interested to see what kind of price she is. But I don't have any knocks on her last two races that we've seen her in. And I know one of them was on turf, but I mean, what are you going to say? She ran fine in that race. She had speed again. She overtook the leaders in the stretch. There was a blanket finish behind her, which I didn't love, but she won easily. And her dirt win prior to that, I know, was on a class drop, but it was a fast race. Listen, it all comes down to price. I have her in my mix, Dan. I put her fourth. If she stays around the 10-1, I'm not going to argue.
I'm a little concerned that this pace is going to be faster than what she's ever seen. She's going to have to hustle out of there from post 11 to get position. But you're right. It's all about price. I think 5-6-1 might even be fair considering her buyer edge. But you're going with Bye Jay. She's sort of been the gatekeeper of this division for a long time.
Yeah, I think she deserves the chance to rebound off of her last two races, which I think both are probably better than they look, even though she lost at short prices both times. I'm going to take her on top. I'm going to try to get the 2 Kaboom Baby in there with her.
I'll go with Princess Lilybug. I think the 7 Hillary G is going to run a bang-up race. I picked her third. I want to use her in multis as well. 6-2-9-11 for Mike. 11-4-7-9 for me. Wednesday's race of the day, Salty State Bred Allowance at Oaklawn. Good luck.